Dominic Cummings, the mastermind behind Vote Leave and new special advisor to Boris Johnson, made a brilliant point about what would happen in the event of a second Brexit referendum. It can be revealed. Mr. Cummings insisted that, even though a people's vote is seen as a way out of Brexit for Remainers, he is sure that Leave would win again. The political strategist drew comparisons with the 2004 North East England devolution referendum. In 2004, voters in the Northeast decided against establishing a Northeast Assembly, despite initial polls indicating the opposite would happen and little resources being used to campaign against it. Mr. Cummings claimed that the referendum, which was won 78-22, was won by a campaign that consisted of not much more than my girlfriend, dad, uncle and literally a handful of people. He said in March, "These guys didn't learn from the 2004 referendum before 2016 and even now very few seem to realize that a second referendum would, given minimal competence from Leave, be a mega repeat of 2004 in which the EU would not even buy the main issue, by these guys." Mr. Cummings is referring to the establishment who lined up to say leaving the EU would be a disaster. He added, "The intricacies of the regional assembly were not central to how the campaign developed. Just as the EU will not be central to a second referendum, it will be about you and your parties, dear MPs, and if you think 2016 was bad, you will find the next one somewhere between intolerable and career-ending." Mr. Johnson's advisor asserted that beating Remain would actually be easier now than in 2016. He confidently claimed that they don't know what they are doing. Mr. Cummings wrote, "We won last time even though the establishment had every force with power and money on their side. They screwed it up because they do not have good models of effective action. They literally do not know what they are doing, as they have demonstrated to the world in the farcical negotiations. They are screwing up their attempt to cancel the referendum. Beating them again and by more will be easier than 2016. His words will likely be a kick in the teeth for Remainers like Green Party MP Caroline Lucas and Liberal Democrat leader Joe Swinson, who have championed the people's vote cause. They have hailed the second referendum as a way to end the impasse in Parliament, but they all likely assume they could win such a vote. Last month, Ms. Lucas sparked outrage when she implied that she would not accept the result of the vote if Leave won again. She was asked on Politics Live, if there were to be a referendum and Leave were to win it again, either more decisively or not, in that Commons would you then back a Brexit deal to Leave? She considered, then replied, "No, I probably wouldn't, but I think a majority probably would." Meanwhile, 3/4 of Remain voters think they would win in a second vote, compared to half of Leavers, according to a YouGov poll. In total, 47% of Britons believe Remain would win. 29% think Leave would and 24% of respondents said they do not know. With the 31st of October deadline looming, new Prime Minister Johnson has just over 2 months to get a deal through the Commons. He has vowed to take the UK out of the EU by Halloween, with or without a deal.